Morning. Welcome to Tax School Tutoring. Um, Last week we talked about scenarios and how important they are, especially when you take that test. For you 2021, for the 2021 graduates, you're going to have scenarios, but you're also going to have a lot of questions. Also, we're going to talk about due diligence and how important this is. Oh, no. This form. Because if you don't follow this form and you skip it and something mess up on the back here, part 5, way down on the bottom before you sign, it says, and I state, if you have not complied with all due diligence requirements, you may have to pay $540 penalty for each failure to comply related to a claim of an acceptable credit or head of household filing status. Now, they do that because, like we were talking about Cloud, which I posted on the Facebook. You guys are welcome to join me there because I post all this there. She's a single mom, divorced, has 2 children, ages 4 and 7. Her wages are $57,000. How much child tax credit would she receive at the end of the year? Or if she opted out of her payments throughout the year, how much would she get at the end of the year? Now, even though this due diligence is 2020, I want you to pretend it's 2021. Because 2021, the child tax credit has increased. I mean, it was $2,000 a year, and you got it at the end of the year. Now it's $3,000 and I believe $600. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's $3,600 per child. But you have the opportunity to, like Connie, her one daughter is age 4. Phones happen. Hello? Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a first. But life happens when you're at home. So where were we? We were talking about Dana. Dana Cloud was divorced, has 2 children, ages 4 and 7. Her daughter Connie is 4. Her son Shevin, he's 7. Her wages are $57,000. Now, what makes you think? Let's forget the child tax credit. What makes you think? Okay, she's divorced. She's only been divorced for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Who has custody of the kids before that? We know that the children have to live in the home for at least 12 months out of the year. Now, in this case, the separation, what if Shevin and Connie lived with their dad, David, for 8 months and only lived with Dana for 4 months. Who legally would get to file for these kids? But now, if Dana has the form 8832, we'll talk about that too next time. The compliance form. So say David had the kids for 8 months, but he wants Dana to go ahead and claim the children since they're divorced. So there are many different outlooks when it comes to children tax credits. It's cold today, sorry. Many different aspects, and that's why this due diligence is so important. Because what ifs? What if you are uncomfortable? What if the husband David comes in and he goes, well, they're my kids. I've got custody. Well, so what? When it comes to taxes, there needs to be written documentation. And there are places where you can put notes all over this thing in your software. You can put, well, David came in, he had school records, health records, blah, blah. And just the list goes on and on forever. Blah, blah, blah. And so, but what if Dana had custody? I mean, not custody, but what if Dana had the children the entire year? Would that matter? Who legally would be responsible for these children? So make sure when you're filling out your due diligence, we're going to start with part 1. Did you complete the return based on information for the tax year? We're going to say 2021. Was it reasonably obtained by you? That meaning right there in the first line, you're the tax preparer. You're the one who's going to take penalty for this if it's wrong. So make sure you're following through this due diligence and make sure you understand it. Almost every, I want to say almost every class that you do, for example, every class, I know that every class in my workbook, there was a due diligence form somewhere in the mix. Take your time and go through those because this is a big part of who you are. To make sure that you're covered, to make sure that you're not going to be penalized at the end of the day. And there's so many questions, but like I said, I'm going to go back to this scenario. Dana Cloud has 2 children, ages 4 and 7. Her wages are $57,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to forget everything I just said. Forget the child tax credit, forget all that. We're going to do a basic 1040. That is your homework from me. You're going to take a 1040, just a basic 1040. Then you're going to take the child tax credit form, which is, I will let you know, and I'm going to post that on Facebook. But you're going to take those 2 with the new stipulations for 2021, because that's what you're going to be doing this year. When you graduate and you start in January 1st, 2022, this child tax credit will be new. It's not going to be the $2,000 anymore. At least they're trying to figure it out, I guess, if they're going to keep it or not. But pay close attention to that. Read your e-wires, read your IRS.gov. Don't be afraid to go to those. Just do it. Knock it out. Go to it once a week. Pick a day, an hour. Don't print it, just read it. Because if you start printing from there like I did at the beginning, you're going to have books and books of stuff from the IRS. And it changes so much. Just take notes. Take you a regular book like I did. Well, this is my Schedule C for business, but take you a regular book and put down important notes for 2021. You don't need to save everything because you're not going to be doing everything. You're not going to be doing the small business yet. You're not going to be doing anything above a Schedule C without a mentor sitting with you. Take a couple minutes. Walk to an elder, I guess is what they're called, a master or person above you in level. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a master. There were things that last year when I was doing taxes that I knew that I could help somebody else. And even though the other girl was sitting there leveling up and leveling up, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to level up as I know it. I'm going to learn and take the time. So, I mean, if you're a master and you haven't took the time to learn any of this, you figure it all goes into a machine. The machine's going to calculate everything. No, it's not. You're going to calculate everything when Dana Cloud comes in and she sits with you. She's got her 2 kids sitting beside her, single mom, ready to do her taxes. You need to know you're getting the correct information. You need to know that the information that's going into you is correct. Make sure you follow through. Taxes, again, I said, should not be hard. Put yourself into the scenario. Okay, I'm Dana Cloud. I'm coming to Joe Smith. He's going to do my taxes. He works for a CPA firm, whatever. As a client, would I feel uncomfortable giving you all the information? And as a tax preparer, would that client make me feel uncomfortable? And I've had some situations. I've had some situations where I'm not going to go there. I apologize. You're welcome to talk to another tax preparer. And if they are not comfortable about talking to another tax preparer, then there's a problem. So go to your manager, go to your supervisor, go to another elder person and tell them what just happened. Make sure that before you close whatever site you're on in your notes, make sure, because it's probably you're not gonna send it by any means. But you want to let managers and other tax preparers know if they pull that up and there's a name there. Say, like, if Dana Cloud came in, instead of talking to Joe Smith, they talked to Mr. Torres, right? Mr. Torres doesn't know what's going on, but if you have notes on this person, now he does. Now he knows he's in there trying to pull something on somebody else. And you're going to come across those. Anytime you feel uncomfortable, any situation you feel uncomfortable, request help. Maybe make a suggestion. Look, I'm new at this. It's going to take me a little bit. Make a copy of their forms. Have them come back. Schedule a time for them to come back. And have an elder or master person take a look at it, or even a manager, or even a second person who's working with you who may not be a master. They just, like me, may be a senior and have all this information. Maybe they might understand, okay, well, this is all right, or no, absolutely freaking not. Remember, at the end of the day, you want to make sure you went home and you're not going to be penalized. And the failures, I mean, you're looking at 5 parts on due diligence. If you miss all 5 parts at $540 a part, you're looking at $2,000-$3,000 for the fines. It could be more. But remember, if you pay attention, the client's paying attention, and make sure they see what you're doing. If they can't see, walk it along with them. Do a little bit at a time, walk it with them. Do a little bit at a time, walk it with them. And by what I'm saying, walk it with them, I mean, let them see what you're doing. And if you're in a situation like we were the last couple of years with the pandemic, you would prepare their taxes alone and then bring them back to the office where you're at, or your office or whatever. Make sure they understand. Make sure it's a two-part communication. Well, you owe $2,000. You have till the end of the tax year. We can set up a payment plan or so forth. But make sure they understand, because if they leave and you don't have anything in your due diligence notes, well, they owe $2,000. They agreed to pay blah 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 payments. The next person may not know. Now, I'm talking about offices. Now, there are millions, thousands of different IRS offices. If they don't comply in your office, the next office may not know. But on the same hand, if it's all the same, say like you work for a specific company and that due diligence is in there and their name's in there, it's not going to come up to the different districts. So all you can do at the end of the day is make sure your office and you are okay. Make sure the place that you're working in, that nobody else gets hit with this. And make sure, write the name down if you felt that uncomfortable. Write the name down and let the other taxpayers know that this person came in and something's not right, just in case they do come back when you're not there. What if they think that you're working 1 to 6 and they come back at 8 o'clock and that 8 o'clock person doesn't have a clue? Write down the names, and because they can pull the name up to see if one's in there before they start. Make people aware of your surroundings. Well, I felt uncomfortable in certain situations, but anyway, we're going to finish with that. I'm going to go over a couple of these because we're running late today, because I got a phone call. One little phone call will carry you away. So part 1 is about making a reasonable request for what you're getting. Number 1, I read to you. Number 2, if credits are claimed on the return. Now I'm talking EIC, CTC, ACTC, ODC, worksheets found in the form 1040, 1040SR, 1040NR, 1040PR, or 1040SS. Instructions on the ALTC worksheet found in the form 8863 with the instructions. Now, anytime I go too fast, and I talk a lot because they basically give you like 20 minutes. They've been letting me go over a little bit here and there. I'm going to go down. It'll ask you, like, did any information provided by the taxpayer or a third party for use in preparing the return or information reasonably known to you appear to be correct? And it'll say incomplete or inconsistent. If yes, answer questions. Make sure you follow that through. List those documents on 5. If the dad David comes in and wants to do them, and Dana's already done them, but she didn't provide any documents, just that she was divorced, then you're looking at legalities. So make sure you put on here, I listed the documents provided by the taxpayer, if any, that they relied on. Hospital records, school records, divorce decrees, child decrees. I mean, if they're recently divorced, like I said, by 2 or 3 months, you're looking at a whole new ball game. And I'm running over here, so I'm going to move along. 6. Did you ask the taxpayer whether he or she could provide documentation for the credits and or household filing status if his or her return is selected for audit? Meaning, if the audit doesn't prove that Dana fully had all this documentation, that's going to pull you in. All right. Let's see. Part 3. And it goes on and on. Have you determined? Have you determined? Part 5. Due diligent questions for claiming head of household. Make sure you follow through with these. And it'll tell you eligibility certification. It'll tell you the forms you accurately need for filing these. And then at the bottom, it tells you the penalty if they're not done correctly. And then at question 15 on the paper I have, 8867. I don't know if some people's software might be different, but do you certify that all answers in this form, 8867, that we've been talking about, to the best of your knowledge, is true, correct, and complete? Yes. If you went over everything, yes, it's complete. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on more scenarios. Next class, because we did the due diligence and Dana, I'm going to come up with 2 scenarios for the next class. 2. But these are going to be a little bit more extensive. They're going to have questions that you need to ponder while you're reading them. And 3, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the publications. Publication 17 and Pub 334. We're going to talk about those and what those actually mean. Everybody says, well, you need a publication 17. No. I just now got mine. It's been 3 years. So this will be my 3rd year. And publication 17, use bits and parts of it to cater to you. You can print the whole thing, but it's long and it's tedious. I ended up printing it because there are things in there about Schedule C that I need, Schedule D's that I need, and I'm going to be learning with you as well as you're learning with me. So that's the end of our class today. If you have any questions, follow me on Facebook at Tax Tutoring School ITC. It's free. And no charge, no free, no nothing. All you got to do is follow, and if you have questions, ask me. You have a good day. Thank you for visiting Tax Tutor School. I will see you on Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.